Paramount and Lucasfilm take you back to where the Indiana Jones legend began. From master storyteller George Lucas comes the adventures of young Indiana Jones. 12 new-to-video features. Filmed in more than 100 cities and 25 countries around the globe. Join young Indiana Jones as he comes face-to-face with the history makers of the early 20th century, like Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, Sigmund Freud, Pablo Picasso, and Vladimir Lenin. All the action, all the intrigue, all the exciting exploits of the young man who not only witnessed history, he made it. Excitement, action, and mystery lie ahead as young Indiana Jones takes you through the high adventure years. In Chapter 10, The Phantom Train of Doom, in the middle of war-torn Africa, Indy and a group of elderly commandos
Birdie, cover your ears.
take on a fiendishly powerful weapon. In Chapter 15, Daredevils of the Desert, Indy lends a hand to his pals in the Australian Light Horseman Regiment. Their success rests on his shoulders and the skills of a beautiful undercover spy. In Chapter 18, Treasure of the Peacock's Eye, the mysterious words of a dying man send Indy off on a wild hunt for the lost diamond of Alexander the Great. Young Indiana Jones learns firsthand the horrors of war and the true meaning of life during the war years. In Chapter 6, Spring Break Adventure, young Indy finds that spies, submarines, and south-of-the-border revolutionaries
Snakes alive, Nancy, they've got guns!
don't necessarily mix. In Chapter 8, Trenches of Hell, trapped in a German POW camp,
Wait, there's been a mistake. I'm not him.
Indy makes the acquaintance of a young Frenchman named Charles de Gaulle as they plot their daring escape. Young Indiana Jones discovers spies, espionage, and danger as he journeys through the Secret Service years. In Chapter 12, Attack of the Hawkmen, when Indiana Jones is shot down by the infamous Red Baron, he discovers a dangerous weapon that could change the course of the war. But can he stop it? In Chapter 13, Adventures in the Secret Service, it's spy versus spy as Indy learns the ABCs of espionage on a trail from war-weary Austria to the heart of the Russian Revolution. In Chapter 11, Oganga, the giver and taker of life. While serving in the Belgian army, young Indy's life is changed when he meets doctor and humanitarian Albert Schweitzer, who shows him the true value of life. Romance, friendship, and intrigue give young Indiana Jones a new view of life during the years of change. In Chapter 16, Tales of Innocence,
She's my girl! She's mine! I saw it first!
not only does Indy compete against dashing young writer and adventurer Ernest Hemingway for the girl of his dreams, he then joins the French Foreign Legion to find that his troubles are just beginning. In Chapter 17, Masks of Evil, Indiana Jones finds that the face of evil isn't always human on a terrifying trek from Istanbul to Transylvania. Young Indiana Jones finds movies, music, and mayhem to be an unusual mix throughout the comic years. In Chapter 20, Mystery of the Blues, pull up a chair as Indy reminisces about his days in 1920 Chicago and the night he crossed paths with cutthroat gangster Al Capone and jazz great Sidney Bechet. In Chapter 22, Hollywood Follies, young Indiana Jones faces off against his most ruthless foes yet, Hollywood studio execs.
But more, I am an artist.
As he takes the reins of a runaway film. The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, 12 collectible all-new-to-video films, available now wherever your favorite videos are sold. And look for more adventures in the new millennium. They're the adventures that made the man, and the man who became the legend.